Okay, so let's start. Okay, so entity relationship diagram, no, or ERD, we call it ERD. Okay, so it is a modeling tool used to depict graphically a database design before it is actually implemented. Okay, so in database, no, there are diagram, no, uh, to look at it, no, if the database, the relational database is correctly connected to each other, no, so the entity is correctly connected, no, to the other entity, because we are going to create what we call relational database. So this is what we are going to develop, no, relational, so meaning each entity, no, is related, no, to another entity, so they are interconnected, no. Okay, so mao ni siya. Okay, so it is a three basic, or it has three basic components, namely an entity, relationship, and attribute. Okay, so for entity, this is a table, no, for the implementation na to naging sa database, this is what we call table, no. Mao ni siya ang entity, so don't be confused. Relationship, it is the way we connect the table to another table, so it is the relationship. So each of the table in a database is related, so sometimes reference and sometimes it is related. So related meaning to say that this table is there is another what we call this one. Okay, so related sila, it's because there is an information that part of the other entity that you need to merge from the other entity. So mo na siya nga i-relate siya na to. It's because we do not want to have duplicated of information, and we do not want to have redundancy of information. It's because this will somehow this will waste of this will be a waste of this space, no. So in larger development, or in larger production of data, so kinahanglan importante kayo nimo ang this space, no, para dili ka ma-out of this space, no, kung kusog kayo mo grow ang imong data. So that is why we need a relational database, so that other information that it is already in the entity, no, you do not need to put it in another entity which is the same database. You just have to relate this table so that you can get those information from the related entity. So mo na siya nga na siya relationship. Okay, so attribute, what is this attribute? Attribute is the column, no, or the field of the entity. So meaning the table has a column, no, and has a row. A column is the field, or it's the attribute, no, it is the like ID number, no, it's last name, the first name, so it is the attribute or the field. When you say what is the ID number, what is the ID number of this student, so that is related to row. Okay, so row na siya, so row speaks the record of say the record of the student, no. So for example, you have the ID number, the last name, the first name, and the course. Okay, so that is your record if we are going to look at it as a row. But if we're going to look at it as a column, so that's just the piece of information about that record. Okay, so continue. So entity, it is a real world object distinguishable or unique from the other object. An entity can be a concrete or physical object like employee, student, faculty, customer, and etc. No? So or it could also be conceptual or abstract like transaction, order, course, subject. Okay, so muna siya ang mga entity. No? It can be thought as a noun like a student, employee. So muna siya. It is normally represented by a rectangle. So muna siya ang rectangle shape, no? Yeah. represented, no, sa ERD, no, ang representation sa entity or table is a rectangle. Okay, relationship is a way of relating one entity to another. Entities can therefore participate in a relationship. It is commonly taught as a verb connecting the entities or nouns. It is normally represented by a diamond shape. Okay, so actually dili kay ni siya in entity, no, in designing entity na yun, actual entity. I don't want to put this diamond in the ERD. Kaya samok-samok lang ni siya, no? Enough na nga makahibaw ta what is the relation type, no? Which is the next slides, no? No? Example of relation entities. Okay, we have person belongs to location, student enrolls subject, faculty teaches subjects. Okay, so that's the relation. Okay, so this is very important, no? Types of relationship. So we need to understand, we need to know what is the type of relationship, no? What is the type of relation in this table to the other table? Say for example, customer to vendor. So we need to relate this entity, no? Entity for customer, entity for vendor. So we need to relate these two entities. So we are going to identify what is the type of relationship, no? It could be one to one, one to many, or many to many. So for example, this is the sign that we are going to put when we are going to design an ERD. Okay, so we have 1 to 1. Okay, so we have here a number from the student, no, 1, and then from the ID it's 1, no. Actually it's wrong actually, no, because ID is an attribute, no, of a student, but this is just to demonstrate an example of how we are going to put a label. Okay, so if it is 1 to 1, so we are going to put 1 here, and this we're going to put 1 here also, so from the other entity. 1 to many, so we have division has a program, so we're going to put 1, no, division, and then many program. So for example, in say division, like DepEd, we have a division and there are many program. Okay, so many to many, so we are going to put M for many, no. So many to many is student, no, enrolls many subject, so many to many siya, no. So if you're a student, then you're enrolling many subject. So we have M here this side, and we have also M here this side. Okay, so we're going to discuss it later, no, more deeper. Okay, this is types of relationship chronotation. Okay, so this one, okay, this one, so when we identify the types of relation, no, if it is 1 we put it 1, and if it is M we put M, no. So that is the other way, no, that is the easy way, no, 1 and M. So to identify 1 to many, no, M and the other side. But in the next slide, okay, this one in the next slide, they are using, so this another way of putting the chronotation to identify it is 1 and the other side is many. So if we have 1 to 1, we will put the bar, no, 2 bars, no, for the one side, and for the other side, if it is many, you have to put a chronotation like this one, greater than symbol and 1 bar. Okay, so this one, the one-to-one connection, so there are 4 bars, no, 2 bars from the student side and 2 bars, no. So if we have 1, so in 1 to many, in division you have a 2 bars, and in the program side you have the greater than symbol and 1 bar. For many to many, we have here, no, greater than symbol. So that's it. But I prepare this one, no, I prepare this to, when we design, I prepare this one. That's simple, no, very simple to understand. So 1 is identified as 1, M is identified as many, no. Okay, attribute. So we're going to proceed to attribute. Attribute refers to the characteristic or basic fact or field of an entity or relationship. So I guess na-explain na kung niya, okay? So for example, a student entity could have the following attributes, no? ID number, last name, first name, address, or birthday. So that's the attribute. A relationship could also have an attribute. For example, an entity named student enrolls relationship. So I don't want to choke this one, no? So lisod-lisod lang na to. Okay? So it is normally represented by a circle. Okay, so ang attribute circle ang iyang representation. Okay, so like this one. This is the example. So for example of attributes, we have here ID number, last name, first name, gender, address, birth date, and email. So this is the attribute of this entity student. If you have noticed, we have here ID number underline. Okay, so it is the primary K, no, as underline in this case, no. Sometimes there is no underline, but we have to put P key or primary key. Okay, so makita na to na inig-design na to. Okay, again, this is another example. So this is the example of an entity connected to another entity. So let's say, for example, faculty. Okay, or program has a faculty. So okay, so if in its program like BSIT, so na faculty. Student enrolls program, no? A program enroll students. So pwede na bali-balihon, no? So for example, BSIT, there are students who is enrolling BSIT programs. Or pwede na put kami ngon for BSIT program, there are students who enrolls. Pwede na siya, no? Okay? So there is a crow fault notation ang gigamit. Pero pwede ra gihapon katong kuan. Katong 1 and m, no? Okay. So next, I guess recursive. So dili sa ta. Okay, this is another example for a hotel, no? Hotel ERD. So this is the database of hotel, okay? ERD, more ERD. Okay, so let me go to here. Okay. Okay, so this is now we're going to design, no? So when we are going to develop an ERD, and of course we are designing a database at this moment, at this time, no? So if we are starting from the scratch, no, so we do not have the entity yet, and we are going to identify all of those entity, no, from the let's say, for example, your task is to identify entity of the business. Okay, so wala pa kay idea, no, what are the possible entities. So at this time, okay, we are designing a database. Okay, a good database design starts with a list of the data that you want to include in your database, and what you want to be able to do with the database later on. In this stage, you must try not to think in tables or columns, but just think, what do I need to know? Okay, so when you are going to design, no, you have to think, no, kung what data are you going to capture. Okay, so don't take this too lightly, because if you find out later that you forgot something, usually you need to start all over. No, adding things to your database is mostly a lot of work. Okay, so this is the very critical part. Okay, so designing a database, plotting it into an ERD, or designing an ERD first, because if you go directly to the database without any ERD, so kung masipyat ka or masayop ka, no, na nagdaga na imong program, so it would be a disaster. Okay, so daghan kay ka og i-change, no, dugay kay mahuman og balik. So it is very important to have the ERD first, so that you can You can examine, you can review, if your database is working well, connected well. So no, this is the best, no? The best time to review your database, no? During the ERD design. Okay? So identifying entities. So there are actually guide, no? How are we going to identify the entities, no? So for example, we're given a task, no, nya wala pa gyud entity, wala pa gyud, no? Start from zero. So we will be the one to identify the entities, no? So we are looking for the entities at this time. Okay? So these entities exist in four kinds or categories. So it could be people, it could be things, it could be events, or it could be a location, no? So for example, customers. Customers is belongs to people. Students is belongs to people. Employee is belongs to people. Okay, so mga inana, no? So you think of people. Okay, so it could be employee, it could be staff, it could be customer, it could be a vendor, it could be, so it could be somehow like faculty. So faculty is people. Okay? Things. So what are things, no? It is like, say, inventory. Inventory is things. Okay? How about events? Event is what is happening, sales, uh, order, no? It is events. Okay? Location is like something like a branch, no? It is something like a GPS. So wanna share location. Okay? Everything you could want to put in a database fits into one of these categories. So kinahanglan mo fits ana niya. If the information you want to include doesn't fit into these categories, so then it is probably not an entity but property of an entity. So it is an attribute. So attribute na siya kung dili siya mo fit ana. Okay? So example, no? Example, problem. So mo ni atong buhaton karon, no? Problem. Imagine that you are creating a website for a shop, no? Imagine that we are creating a coffee shop, no? What kind of information do you want to deal with? Okay. In a shop, you sell a products to your customers. The shop is a location. Sale is an event. So, ni-fit siya sa atong mga categories, okay? Products are things, and customers are people. So these are all entities that need to be included in your database. So ma-identify na nato ang mga entity. Okay? So analyzing the problem. So this is the logic, no, the business logic that happens in the shop. Okay? So according to our example, things are happening when selling a product. A customer comes into the shop. Okay, so for example, nakay shop and then nakay display nga mga coffee products, no? So coffee product. So then a customer will go to your coffee shop. Okay? So the vendor, okay, so muna siya. A customer comes into the shop, approaches the vendor, so mo approaches a vendor. So ask a question and gets an answer. So maybe no mo ask sa vendor that what are your products, no? Can you introduce, so can you explain us your product? So or maybe the vendors will try to show the menu, no, these are our products. Okay, so vendors also participate, and because vendors are people, we need to vendors entity. Okay, so mo na ni siya. So these are the entities, no, possible entities, no? From those problem, we identify that we have customers, no? Customers are people. We have vendors. Vendors are people. Products are things. Okay? Sales, it belongs to event. Shop, it is belongs to location. Okay? Any question so far? Question?
Wala na sir.
Wala ra. Sabtan ra?
Wala na sir.
Sabtan ra. Okay.
Yes sir.
Okay, so at this time, okay, so identifying relationship. So we need to identify the relationship in the connection between entities, just like in the real world. what does one entity do with the other? How do they relate to each other? Customer buy products. Products are sold to customers. A sale comprises products. A sale happens in the shop. Okay? So, assignment. Okay. So, going back to this, no? So, we're going to analyze and we are going to I'm going to demonstrate, no? I'm going to demonstrate to create, no? How to create uh, entity, no? Or the ERD or entity relationship diagram. Okay, so let me open. Okay. Okay, let me open a PowerPoint. Okay. Blank and then right here. Okay. Okay, so we're going to create an entity right here. I want to create the vendor, no? Vendor first. Vendor lang, no? Vendor. Just right here. So we're going to put some no field and we're going to put some okay, line vendor, and we're going to put it to the center. Okay, so that's the vendor entity, and of course we're going to put some another entity right here like customer. Okay, so according to the problem that we have discussed, okay, asaman to siya. So the analysis of the problem, the things are happening when selling a product. A customer comes into the shop, approaches the vendor, asks a question, and gets an answer. Vendors also participate, and because vendors are people, we need vendors entity. Okay, so we have here customers and we have vendor. Okay, so first we are going to identify. Okay, identify the connection. Okay, so connection. We're going to put here they are connected. Okay. Okay. Ato lang siyang padakaan para klaro. Kan gamay pa gyud. Yan. Okay. So we're going to write this is what is the relation type for this? One to one, one to many, many to many. Can you analyze what is the connection? What is the relation? Vendor to customer or customer to vendor?
Many, sir.
One to many.
One to many, sir.
So from vendor to customer is one to many. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is one. And this is many. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Why?
sir.
Why? Why we have one to many relation type with these entities?
Kadaghan man ang customer, sir. Pira man basta ang customer.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
nasa ang kuwan, sir.
Yes. Iskabas. So because a vendor can entertain many customer. Am I right? Accommodate. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. De
Yes,
Los
sir.
Santos. Yes. Okay. So that's correct, no? Accommodate or entertain many customer. Like if I am a vendor, no, I can entertain customer one. After I entertain customer one, I can entertain another customer and another customer. So that is the relation, no? That is what we identify that the vendor can entertain many customer. So therefore we have one to many connection. Okay. So now we are going to create an attribute. Okay. Attribute for I'm going to go here first. Let's take out the okay right here. So I want to see customer ID and put it primary key. Okay, so if you have question, class, do not hesitate to ask question, because I'll be glad if you are if you're going to ask questions. Okay, klaro ra ninyo, class, ang kuan ang uh, text, klaro ra ang text,
Yes, sir. Klaro, sir.
klaro ra. Okay, okay. So let me group this one so that I can copy. Okay. So it is like I am discussing in the laboratory, no? Parehas ra, di ba? Nag-discuss ko sa laboratory niya, akong gi-connect itong laptop sa TV. So makita ra ninyo, klaro ra kayo.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Maldo.
Okay. So I have here the customer, padakan to gamay para and customer ID, no? Customer ID, and then another attribute for customer. If you have questions, just ask question, ha. Okay, so say last name, okay, and another say first name, okay. So I guess, no, kana lang sa ano, di lang nato daghanon. So basic lang, no, basic and important attributes lang sa ang atong ipang butang diri, no. So just for a demo purpose. Okay, so for now, okay, for the customer, no, customer ID is very important, no. P key is a primary key, so it is the unique key, no, of the entity or of the table. So unique din na siya. Say for example, student ID number. Student ID number is unique. Okay? So, mao na siya. Customer ID is unique. No, ganiha na ay underline ang sa atong PowerPoint nga ato ang gi-discuss. But right here, I did not put an underline, but I indicate as P key or primary key. Okay? So, this time, I want to create attribute for the vendor. Okay? Di kayo makita, no? I can pagamiran ako gamay. Yan. Yan. So this time I wanted to assign as a vendor ID. Okay? So and then again I wanna have a I wanted to have vendor last name and that's what last name for the vendor, because vendor is people, so it has a name. Okay, so it is like customer, it is belongs to people, so there is a name of this. Okay, I want to connect this one. Okay, so vendor ID, last name, first name. Okay, so the next thing that I need to do is to add an entity, no? So what would be the possible entity? Okay, so right here, okay, right here in our problem, so things are happening when selling a product. So okay ra kayo, no? Okay ra jud kayo og balik-balik ko lang to basa ang problem, so that we the more we repeat the reading, the more we understand. So okay, things are happening when we selling a product. Customer comes into the shop, no? Approaches the vendor, asks the question and gets an answer. Vendors also participate. So anhan ako taman. So ang customer, you are going to call the vendor or get the attention of the vendor, and then the vendor will accommodate or will entertain the customer, and say, okay, this is our menu, this is our products. Okay, so mo na siya, no? So, customer will order products through vendor. Okay, so ang customer mo order siya through vendor. So we need to track kung this customer kinsay ni attend ani nga kinsay ni entertain ani nga vendor. So we need to track that one. So therefore we have this connection vendor, no, customer, no, or customer to vendor, and then we have here orders, no. We have here order. Okay, so if you're going to look at the problem, or we are going to look at the slideshow, there is no order, no, entity yan na identify. So additional entity ni siya ang order. Okay, so order is connected to vendor. Okay, so connected siya ni vendor. So what types of relation that we are going to assign for this connection? Can you identify vendor to order? Anybody who would like to identify? So while we are identifying, we are going to put an attribute for this. I'm assigning an attribute for this. Anybody who could tell me the connection or the relation between vendor and order? What would be the possible relation for these two entities? Anybody?
One to many, sir.
One to many. So vendor to order, one to many.
Oh, one to one. Many to many, sir.
So we're going to we go this way, vendor to order. How do you anticipate? How do you give a relation from vendor
One to
going
many, sir. One to many.
one to many? No,
One
one
to
to
many,
many.
sir. Isa nga, vendor. Daghan na order, sir, sa customer. So, pwede naman.
Okay, so let's analyze. Okay, one to many, vendor to order. Okay, so if I am the vendor, okay, if I am the vendor, I am attending the customer, then I take the order from customer. So that's order number one. Okay, and I go to another customer, and the customer again order, and again I place an order from the another customer. So I am assuming that one vendor can have many order. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So sakto, no? So meaning to say this is one to many. Okay, sa naman siya. Aha. Okay, already. Okay. So let me create okay, this is order ID. Okay. This is the vendor ID and this is the customer ID. Okay, so let me connect this one. Okay, connect na to siya. So okay, and this one, this is one vendor. Okay, can have many order. Okay. Okay. What else? Order, vendor ID, customer ID, and then I want to put some like Something like amount. Okay. Okay. So that's it, no? So let me add another attribute, another entity, so that I'm going to discuss after this entity. So we call it order detail. Okay. So order detail. This is order ID, and this gonna be it's gonna be a picky, and here this is gonna be FK. So why mangutana? Wala pa yung mangutana. Anong FK and okay. So let me add a connection right here. Okay. Okay. So again, no, para ma-explain ako og tarong, let me add another. Okay. Let me add another. Okay, let me add another vendor ID. Say again, this is the product ID. Okay. Again, we have another lapit. Yeah, right there. Product ID, and then we have the product ID, and then we have the quantity. Okay, and then again we have the price. Okay, and connect. Yeah. Ooh. Connect the price. Order ID, product ID, quantity, price. Okay, so for the order details, and again, let me add another entity, no, para ma-explain na to tarong. Explain na to right, just right there. Okay, so this time is the product. Okay, so let me add the connection. So open siya, no? So we're going to make this bold, and then let me connect one. Wala pa ikuan ha, wala pa yung relation type. So kindly while I'm doing the attribute, so kindly think of what is the possible relation type with order to order detail and order detail to product. Okay, so kindly suggest what would be the proper, the appropriate connection type for this, or the relation type. Okay, so for the product, I have the product ID here. Okay. Oops. It's picky. Okay, and then another entity like price. Yeah, another entity like here. I don't know about that. description of the product. Okay, let me connect. Okay, so what is the possible attributes for this? Anybody could tell me? Okay, let's go first with order to order details. So do you have any idea what is the possible relation type?
Many to many, sir.
Many to many.
Mm.
Many to many. So if you have noticed, we have here P key and F key for order ID. Okay, so just think about that, no? How do you analyze, no? Unsa man ni siya? How do you relate this one into the real scenario? Like if I have order, say order number 1, no? Order number 1 for customer number 3. Oh, we have the ID number, no? Order ID 1. Okay. Now, this order has many products, no? Combine of many products. Si order number 1 is siya, yang order ID 1. Yeah, this order has many products, no? Like say for example, if we are going to talk with coffee shop, so there are lots of coffee products like si brewed coffee, 3-in-1 coffee, coffee co, coffee, coffee blanca. So there are lots of product, no? So mao na siya ang sud ani. Okay? Okay, so actually mao na siya ang mahitabo niya. This is what we call a master slave connection. This is the master and this is the slave. So it is always independent to the master, no? The slave, it is always independent to the master, no? It's because if there is no primary key, no, the foreign key will not be stored, no? Say for example, na ako'y order nga ID na ako'y order, so the ID of the order is order ID number 1. Okay, now if I encode, no, the order ID number 1 here as foreign key, okay ra siya, no? Mo store siya, mo save siya. It's because there is an ID ID 1 exist in here. But if I'm going to encode order ID number 2 for the order detail, it will generate an error, no? So kay ngano mang mo error man, ang order ID number 2 is not yet existed in this order, no? Wala pa mahimo ang ID number 2 diri. So dili pa siya mo accept og 2 diri because order ID foreign key is referring to the primary key nga order ID, no? Okay, so nganong magbutang man ko og order detail, no? Wagi nang utana ana. It's because in here we are assigning primary key for the order ID. And primary key is always unique, no? Dili siya pwede mag-duplicate, dili siya pwede magparehas, no, in this entity. So therefore, okay, og naa ko'y daghang order like say brewed coffee, coffee co, coffee blanca, original coffee. So there are 5 order, no? So kung ako nang balik-balikon ang 5 ka order diri nga coffee, so magbalik-balik sa ko og butang og order ID, dili siya pwede because this is primary key. Its row for this entity is unique, ang iyahang order ID. So dili siya pwede diha mo violate siya sa primary key. So therefore magbuhat ko og order detail. This order detail will always point to this order na entity. So balik-balik ko na ko ang iyang order ID number or order ID, okay ra because it is foreign key. So mo ni siya ang detail, mo na siya gingon nga sud na siya sa kuan. Mo na siya ang iyang ari ang iyang details diri. Okay, so for example, na yung order, no? Ang iyang order ID is 3. Okay? Now, nigabot na ko diri, mingon na yung kani nga order ID number 3 mao ni siya iyang sod ani original coffee. Mo ni siya product ID ni refers ni siya. So later ato na i-discuss no uh, original copy belongs to order ID number 3. So pila man kabuok? Okay. So tulo ka buok. Okay? Copy ko na sad belongs to order number 3 na pila man ka buok. 5 ka order. So na diha anin the price. Okay? Okay, so naa diri nabutang ang iyang mga order details. No, kani siya diri si order. This is the header. No, anong header man siya? So because makaibaw ta diri dapita. So sa order makaibaw ta kung kinsay nag-order, okay? Kinsa nga customer ang nag-order ani? Nya, kinsa sad nga vendor ang nag-transact ani? Okay, nga naman. We have here the vendor ID. So we capture who is the vendor who placed this order, no? So we capture. And we have the customer ID. So therefore, we can capture who ordered this order, no? Kinsa may tag-iya ani nga customer, no, nga ani nga order. So si customer ID na it is referencing. Actually, kung imo na siyang i-connect, no, this is referencing type, no? Okay, I wanna put its imaginary line, no? Kung imagine na to, this is connected because we have customer ID and we have customer ID here, no? So, but since we are connected through vendor because the vendor are the one who is facilitating the order, no? So the customer tell to the vendor nga mao ni ang iyang ganahan paliton. Okay? So that is why no atong giagi ni vendor. But imaginary what we call this one, no? Kung atong imagine nun, this is connected, no? Order and customer. It's because customer ID in here, place in here, and customer ID in here. Mao ni siya ang iyahang timailhan. Mao ni siya ang iyahang mga K nga nag-link nila. No? So we can link actually order and customer automatically. But if we need to know who are the vendor or who is the vendor placing this order, so we need vendor ID so we can connect also, no? Okay. So we can connect that. No, I'll just remove this one, no? Kay ari na taagi sa vendor. Okay. So how about the amount? Okay? How about the amount? No, the amount is coming from this detail. Okay, so this is the header. So probably you put it here date, and then there are another there are lots of attributes that you can put in here, but for now it's just the very important attributes that we can do, that we can put in here, like the ID and the linking. No, it's linked to the customer and it's linked to the vendor. Okay, and again this order detail is linked to the order. Now this amount is depend on the quantity. Merong spelling akong quantity. Kuwag A. Yes. Quantity and the price. For example, ning order siya og coffee original, coffee blanca, coffee ko right here, no? So provided kung pila ka buok ang iyang gi-order, multiply to the price, and whatever product sa kanang after gi-multiply nimo, ibutang nimo diri sa amount. Okay? Okay, so we put in here this is 1 and this is mini. Okay. Product and order details. Okay. So product, we have notice here we have product. Okay. Product, and then here product ID, and here product ID. Okay. So this is referencing again. So referencing. So we are going to determine the relation type. Okay. So one product can have many order. Am I right? Class?
Yes, sir.
So one product, say for example, one coffee product can be repeat, no, can have many order, no. So pwede siya kadaghanon og order for many customers, right? So right in here I have here sorry. Huh? And oops. Oops. Okay. So this one. So one product can be ordered many times. Okay? Question. Question. So let me do another quantity para mahuman na ta. Oops. Okay. So right in here, dali lang ko dapita para di kay layo. I wanna put sales. Okay? What do you think? Asa na to ni-connect ang sales? Okay, ari lang ko. Hawanan na ko diya. Okay. Can put it here, amount. Okay, and I wanna put it here, sales. Okay. So sales to order. Okay. Sales to order. What is the possible relation type? Sige, kamo na po. Anybody? Sales to order? Possible
1-to-1.
1-to-1. Yes, kinsa to si entry na. Okay, so 1-to-1. Yes. Okay. So 1-to-1 is correct. Okay. So one order is considering one sales. Right here. Right here. Okay. So sales, we have okay. Let me explain in a while. Maging sa ko diha o primary key. It's order ID. Here. Sales ID. Another. Amount. Okay. Let me have the connection. Okay. So that's it. So napa na siya daghan nga attribute ha. So right now we are just trying to include the important, no? So sales ID, and we have the order ID, and we have the amount. Okay. So okay, this is what happened. So when customers order, when the vendor place an order to the system, okay, order is still subject for the cancellation or on hold, no, because it is still in order. Okay, when the order is done, no, it's paid already, so that's the end of the transaction, no, the transaction has been completed, no, and then it becomes sales. Okay, so one order, it's become one sales. Okay, so whatever amount from the order, it is the amount also in the sales. Okay, so there is another entity that I would like to include here, is the this is the okay, this is the shop ID. So later ato na i-connect. Okay? Okay. So we have an order ID here connected. So they are referencing. So reference to this order. Okay. So if the sales has been reported to the top management for audit. Okay, for example, if there is an anomalies that happen in the sales, I can always trace back for this sales. Okay, so for example, there is an anomalies happen in the sales like order number 100. Okay, so or order ID 100. Okay, so I guess the amount is doubtful. Okay, so I can always trace using the order ID from the sales, because we are linking these two entities. I can trace back to the order ID, and then from this order entity I can trace back what are the product orders to this order. So what are the product details of this order, and I can always trace back who is the vendor placing this order, because I have order ID. And again, I can always also trace back who is the customer ordered these sales, because I have here from the order I have customer ID. So that's the relation, layo na kaayong table, layo na kayong entity. So I can always go back to this entity, customers. It's because I have linked the ID. Okay, so mo na siya ang sales. Sales is always the interest of the management, the owner of the shop. It's because this is involving money, so reporting, during the reporting, so mo na siya, sales shop ID. Okay, so the last entity I would like to put the shop, so just right here. Okay, lang, shop. Okay, and maybe I can put right here shop ID, and this is considered as primary key. Okay, and then right here, okay, I can put shop ID right here, shop ID. So I want to add some another okay, say address. Okay, so and connect, I have here another. Okay, and lastly the connection type. Okay, so let's have this. Okay, so what do you think? What is the relation between sales and shop? Anybody?
Many to one.
Many to one. Where is the one? Where's many?
Sales may many, sir.
Okay. Shop to sales, it is one from the oops. Okay, one shop can have many sales, right here, so there are many sales in the shop. Okay, so kana siya. So that's it. Question? Do you have any question? Wala ra, nasabtan ra?
Wala na, sir.
Wala ra, nasabtan ra? Dagamak, sabtan ra?
Yes, sir. Klaro kayo.
Klaro kayo? How about saan naman to si Rodriguez? Sabtan ra, Rodriguez? Nawa na si Rodriguez? Okay, so next meeting you're going to present to me like what I do this afternoon. Okay? So if you have no PowerPoint, if you don't have Word, if you don't have computer, you can draw it to the bud paper and take a picture and then share it to the Google Meet and then you can discuss. Okay? So same ra gyapon. Okay? So hopefully you can make it next Saturday. So dili na ko mo kamo na say kuan, kamo na say mag istorya. Kamo na say mo explain sa inyong work. Okay? So I have already created this one. Hopefully you can make your own way, no? Naasan mo inyong ERD nga your own version of this. Okay? So hopefully next Saturday. So wala na walay mic, wala na naka-off ang hinay ang signal, dili mo ka-share. So hopefully there is no reason para ma-continue ta. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
By the
Anybody?
way,
Yes.
kaning i-present na mo next week, sir, ba? Kami ra mag-vote sa scenario, sir.
No, it's the same shop, no? It's the same scenario, pero I guess there are other version, no? Pwede ra po ninyo lahion ang version like vendor is just referencing to order, no? Dili niya ipaagya na it is up to you, no? So anyway, we will suggest or we will comment, we will react, we will revise, no, if necessary to your ERD.
Same
Okay?
scenario rin.
Yes, same scenario ra. So there is always a version. There is always your version. Okay, this is my version and I am open for suggestion and I am open for any revision. Okay, I know it's the first drop. Okay, so it's not always perfect. No, there will be always something we miss. Okay, so that is why I want you to review and I want you to add something connection or I want you to revise the path of the relationship if necessary. So it's up to you. Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So if you have no question, then we can dismiss early. So let me make
Sir, assignment, sir.
yes, the assignment. There is no deadline yet, so I will announce the deadline maybe next week. Okay, so you can do it, no? Pero wala pa ay deadline. Okay, so if you want to submit the assignment earlier, no, pwede ra, no? Pero wala pa ko deadline. Maybe next Saturday I will tell you the deadline of the assignment. It's because I'm going to give another activity. I guess there are 2 activities that I am preparing for the module 4, no? And I want it to be submitted with the assignment, no? So just one in just one deadline. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me stop the